maybe we really do all go a little mad sometimes.
House. It's alive.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 horror movies of the 1960s. For this list, we're looking at those films that took the early cinematic groundwork in horror and expanded upon it, leaving behind the B-movie backlot and entering the mainstream with major artists in front of and behind the camera.
Come on. You ain't that scared?
This is part of a series of videos spanning the decades of horror cinema from the 1920s to the 2000s.
I have to hang up now.
Number 10. The Haunting.
It's with this young companion the evil reputation of Hill House really begins.
A film like The Haunting, where a haunted house story is more effective in showing us the psychological deterioration of the characters and their fear, instead of monsters and ghosts, shows us the mature direction of horror films in the 60s.
The dead are not quiet in Hill House.
Based on the classic Shirley Jackson novel The Haunting of Hill House, we follow an investigator who convinces a couple of colleagues to spend the night with him at Hill House for paranormal research.
We're researchers in the field of psychic phenomena.
Grace, please go. You couldn't have arrived at a worse time.
Without having to explicitly show us much, this movie is considered one of the most unsettling and terrifying ever made. Number 9. I tre volti della paura.
Per un corpo come il tuo si fanno pazzie. Io t'ucciderò.
With the huge success of TV shows like The Twilight Zone and The Outer Limits, the 60s saw a rise in popularity of horror anthology productions, with this French-Italian film among its greatest examples.
Voglio ucciderti. Voglio vendicarmi.
An early success by Italian shock director Mario Bava, Black Sabbath presents us 3 short and creepy tales of insanity and otherworldly terror, all introduced to us by aged horror icon Boris Karloff.
Signore e signori, io sono Boris Karloff.
The international cast brings class to the trio of stories about ghosts, stalkers, and haunting undead creatures.
Parlare con I morti. Proprio la cura adatta.
America was not prepared for Bava's extreme talent.
Beh, siamo arrivati alla fine delle nostre storie e adesso purtroppo sono costretto a lasciare.
Number 8. The Village of the Damned.
The whole village fell asleep.
Although audiences had experienced evil children before, as with the great film The Bad Seed, no one was prepared for an entire village of bizarre and demonic children to invade their movie screens. The now famous plot follows a small village after all the inhabitants had lost consciousness for a short period of time.
An attempted suicide. Janet Paul, whose husband only came back from sea yesterday.
It's dreadful, dreadful.
3 other women in the village, half out of their minds.
All the women wake up pregnant, and all give birth to creepy-looking children that grow at an alarming rate, have telepathic powers, and harbor a thirst for blood and mayhem.
That means that every woman in this village who is capable of childbirth is going to have a baby.
With sci-fi undertones, these kids trigger the horror in every parent's mind.
Thank you, but I'm old enough to do things for myself.
Number 7. Peeping Tom.
What causes people to be Peeping Toms?
The acclaimed classic British director of sweeping dramas like Black Narcissus and The Red Shoes was attacked and later reviled by critics for this honest look at voyeurism and violence.
Get away!
A film about cinema itself, the eccentric story of a psychopathic cameraman and his unsettling violent and sexual needs urges us to watch as we go from his traumatic childhood to his unsettling adulthood.
I've been watching you. Oh.
Despite its initial critical reception, the clever tale of murderous revenge and its uncomfortable subject matter is today hailed as a masterpiece and a cult classic.
I knew I was going to kill them. I made them watch their own deaths.
Number 6. Les yeux sans visage.
Le visage est endommagé. Seuls les yeux sont intacts.
A brilliant French surgeon is hiding a deadly secret in the basement of his secluded mansion.
Comme il a changé depuis la disparition de sa fille.
After his daughter's horrific disfigurement, the rich doctor sets his eyes on some radical surgery to give her a new face, at any cost.
C'est amusant, ça. Un visage nouveau. Identité nouvelle.
The controversial film shocked European audiences with its bizarre mix of poetic, haunting moods and ghastly violence, and was later released in America in a much edited, cheesier, toned-down version called The Horror Chamber of Dr. Faustus.
Alors, docteur, qu'est-ce que vous en pensez?
J'ai bon espoir.
Despite this, the original cut went on to inspire countless films, and even the Billy Idol song Eyes Without a Face, which is what the French title translates to in English.
Je veux faire la stimulation électrique. Ça ne fait pas mal.
Number 5. The Innocents.
Unless they're both deceiving us, the innocents.
By the 1960s, Hollywood knew how to respectfully make some quality horror.
Well, how can you say that? As though you too were a complete innocent?
Take a brilliant novella by Henry James, hire the great Truman Capote to help out with the script, bring in Hollywood royalty like Deborah Kerr to star in it,
neither complain, nor appeal, nor write.
And the Oscar-winning director of photography Freddie Francis for some gritty widescreen thrills, and you get this brilliant gothic nightmare.
Whatever you've done, I'm not against you. I don't think it's your fault.
The story of a governess watching over two very creepy children in an even creepier house has us wondering along with her, is there something supernatural going on, or is she just going insane?
His name, Miles! Tell me his name! You must tell me his name! He's dead!
Number 4. The Birds.
Cover your faces! Cover your eyes!
Suspense director Alfred Hitchcock had already established himself by 1963 as a living legend, but he wasn't close to finished. Proving to the world that he could make anything scary, he brought the creature features of the 40s and 50s out of the Stone Age and into stark, mega-production, in-your-face terror with The Birds.
I have never known birds of different species to flock together. The very concept is unimaginable.
Successfully doing what Steven Spielberg did for swimming a little over a decade later, Hitchcock's avian masterpiece had people too terrified to look up at the sky. As audiences looked on in horror, as birds of all kinds wreaked total havoc in the town of Bodega Bay. Number 3. Night of the Living Dead.
They're coming for you. Look, there comes one of them now.
The little film that could, this indie masterpiece with its do-it-yourself horror aesthetic inspired the likes of Sam Raimi and countless other future backyard home movie filmmakers.
The wave of murder which is sweeping the eastern third of the nation is being committed by creatures who feast upon the flesh of their victims.
And it also gave birth to a little something we call the modern zombie. With its deep social commentary and an original storyline that we've now heard hundreds of times, this sci-fi horror film sees the reanimated dead begin to roam the earth, looking to eat the flesh of the living. The main story revolves around a group of poor, unfortunate souls that gets trapped in a small farmhouse and is soon surrounded by the undead. Lock up tight.
That a ghoul can be killed by a shot in the head or a heavy blow to the skull.
Number 2. Rosemary's Baby.
We have to make a baby.
Having already given us the shocking and disturbing Repulsion, and the horror comedy The Fearless Vampire Killers earlier in the decade.
And you will be able to dance.
No one expected Roman Polanski to top it all off with his greatest masterpiece in 1968.
What have you done to it? What have you done to its eyes?
One of the most atmospheric and poetically haunting horror films of all time, Rosemary's Baby plays on a mother's paranoia during her pregnancy.
Somebody help me!
The Oscar-winning film follows Mia Farrow with these probing questions. Can I trust my neighbors? Is my husband out to get me? Will I give birth to a demon child? Questions every mother has asked herself, right?
What have you done to him, you maniac?
Satan is his father, not Guy.
Before we pull the sheet off our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Freaks. All of you. All of you freaks. Mutations.
1. Psycho. This is a prime example of an established director taking on disturbing macabre material and turning it into gold. How does one follow up brilliant thrillers like Vertigo and North by Northwest? Give the audience the shock of their lives. A stunning vision of unrelenting terror, Hitchcock went full-on horror for this twisted tale of mommy issues, brutality, abusive insanity, and sexual violence. And yet, it was all done with such style and grace.
We're all in our private traps.
Checking into Norman Bates Motel would be the most fatal mistake of your life, but it's a must-watch horror film. Do you agree with our list?
How could we prove it?
What other classic images of terror from the 1960s can you think of?
Yes, I'll tell you about those in a few moments.
For more exciting top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Yeah, I would love to. Would that be possible?